Hi everybody, it's Diana with Stamping with Di. Welcome to my YouTube channel and this week's Mimeograph Monday with a twist. If you've been here before, welcome back. But if you are new, welcome. My name is Diana and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and I'm in Santan Valley, Arizona. So Monday is my Mimeograph Monday with a twist. So basically I'm going to be doing a project out of the catalog and then how I think it's done, and then I do a twist on that card. So I'll be doing two projects today. And last week I went over the last chance list, and the stamp set that I'm using today is on that list, so you are going to want to grab it as soon as you can. It's super cute. So I said I would do that this week because I had not even used it yet and it's adorable. So that's what we're going to be doing. I also have the stamp sets I can show you now for my virtual spring social. That's in February the 25th. It's in a Zoom platform, or you can watch it later. I will have a private YouTube link. We'll stream it into Facebook. There's many different ways you can do it. You want to make sure you sign up. The early registration ends December the 19th, and it totally ends, if I still have room, December the 30th, and then it's a later registration. So you save if you register early. And so I will show you that. That's for USA only. So if you're in another country, I apologize. I can't send stuff out of the country. So, but maybe you'll have a demonstrator near you that does the events. I know if you are in Canada, Marcy Denning, she's a really good friend of mine. You want to reach out to her because she does events that I believe she calls them soirees. So mine calls socials, but you want to give her a holler if you are in Canada. All right, so let me turn the camera. Close your eyes for a second while I spin. And oh, look at my silly pants. All right, so I am wearing, oh, no wonder my thing is all like not in the right spot. Like, why? I was like, why can you see my silly pants? All right. That's called loungewear. Oh, if I don't have to go anywhere, I'm pretty much always in loungewear, I like to call it. All right, so let me show you the spring social stuff first. All right, so this is what I'm talking about. You can see more information about this on my blog, and my blog is over here, and you can get some more information about that. I'm so excited for how many people have registered. I'm about half full, so you don't want to miss out on that. So let me show you what you'll be getting. So you will be getting the adorable owls. I need to get adjusted. There we go. All right, so you will get the adorable owls. And aren't they not the cutest little things? I love their little eyeballs. You are also going to be getting the beautiful thistle. I love this. This is just so gorgeous, so I can't wait to play with it. And you'll also be getting the nested friends, and that has a die that goes with it. Now, now this is not part of it, but the beautiful thistle dies, it has a die too. You won't be getting it, but I've had a few people register and then they just pay extra because they want the thistle die. So if you want to do stuff like that, you just let me know, and then I send you the link that will have that included. All right, so these are the nested friends dies that you will be getting. And look how fun these are with the nest and the little birds. And so I'm just so excited to use these sets together. And so these are from the upcoming mini catalog that will start in January. All right, so these are the 3 stamp sets and then the die that you will be getting for the virtual spring social. Okay, so let me put that off to the side. Okay, let's see what else. All right, I also have a new host code. I think I mentioned this the other day for December. So if you are ordering in my store, make sure you use that code. If you are not in a stamp club, if you're in one of my stamp clubs, you have your own code for that. And if you are ordering less than $150 before tax and shipping, please use that code, because that way it allows me to continue to send goodies and guts. And I will be showing tomorrow the goodies and the guts. All right, but today is Mimeograph Monday with a twist, and I'm going to be doing this cute card right here. This is such a fun set. I was back and forth. Which one was I going to use? I ended up going with this one. All right, so super cute. So I have my recipe. Now you can get the recipes for the catalogs on my blog. So if you are, looking through the catalog and you're like, oh, I want to make, this or that, the other, just make sure you go to my blog and get that information. All right, so the first card that I'm doing is the catalog version, and it is a 4-inch card. So sometimes it tells you the size, sometimes it doesn't. And all right, let's see here. We want this right here. Now, I'm going to do some watercoloring, and they used the recipe that they said they used the basic white thick. And I'm not a big fan of doing watercoloring on the basic white, thin or thick. I always like to use a shimmery paper, so I did switch to the shimmery paper. So you can't really tell the difference when the card gets done, but just so you know that that's what I'm using is the shimmery paper. All right, so we are going to watercolor, so we need to use the StazOn. So this is the StazOn pad, and then we'll stamp these cuties on here. Let that soak in really good. Okay, now I'm just going to set it aside so it can soak in really, really good. All right, while that's drying, I'm going to do the greeting. And the greeting is just fussy cutted. So I did a little different for my twist. All right, so I'm just going to stamp it on here and let that dry as well. Now StazOn, I love StazOn because it's so black. It's just such a dark, dark color. But if you like to use the blends, this is not the pad that you want to use. This pad is only for watercoloring. So if you're going to watercolor, that's the pad you want to use. So I'm going to be using our awesome water painters. So we're going to let that dry. All right, so while these things are drying, I'm going to pull over these two pieces and my grid sheet and do a little bit of stamping on here. So we want our garden green pad. All right, and it has this cute little paw in the set, so we're going to do that. So the inside, since it's a square card, it's just a 4x4. It's like 8x4, and then you score it by 4, and it makes your 4x4 card. So this piece is just going to go on the inside, so it's basically 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. And I'm just going to make these cute little paw prints walk up the center of the card. And then you can write your name or whatever you want on it. All right, so that little paws are just going up the front. Now, this is also 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 because it's going to go on the front of the card. But this time I want to cover the whole thing. So I'm going to move the cardstock around so that all my feet aren't going all the same direction, and I don't have to keep doing this with my wrist. So it's a lot easier just to stamp and spin the cardstock, because then all the feet go all sorts of different ways, and it's just a lot easier than moving this wrist. So just spin and stamp. And then the feet are not going all the same way. And if you need to do some of your edges, you can do those after, because it draws the eyes out of the card if they go out of the cardstock. If you keep them all within the center, then the eyes just kind of stay within, and you want the eyes of the person looking at the card to look at the whole card. All right, so let's see. We're going to stick this on here. I'm just trying to get some of this stuff done while my things are drying. I like to give it quite a bit of time because I don't want it to smear. This stays on dries pretty quick, but since I have to do this anyways, I might as well do it so it's done ahead of time. All right, so that is all ready to go. Let's bring our cute little kitty and puppy over. And let me just flip that because there's ink on there. Okay, so we are going to do some watercoloring. So I have my handy dandy little silicone that I have cut into 4. It comes like this in the catalog. I just trimmed it into 4 pieces, and then I just use a cotton round. This is just what I use to take my nail polish off. And these ones are extra cottony, so I need to remind myself not to buy those the next time because they have a lot of flyaway cotton, and I don't really like that, but you know, they were cheap. Okay, so we're going to start to color. So we want mint macaron. So we have quite a few inks, and I have simply put refill in the lid, and I'm just going to use the lid as my paint palette. So we're just going to ink up our water painter, and this is mint macaron, so it's a fairly light green, so I want to kind of dilute it quite a bit on the pad. And then we're just simply going to do like a wash around the puppy and the cat. So we're just going to take our mint macaron, so it's very light, and we're just giving a wash all the way around, and then just keep picking up more as you need it. And this is why I like the shimmery paper, because it allows you to do that wash, and it doesn't soak in immediately. It does soak in, but not immediately like the basic white would. So that's why I choose this. Also, watercolor paper is great too, but I like the shimmery. Okay, so that was simple. So now you have this cute, you know, little wash around our kitty and our puppy. And then we're going to start to color. So you just want to make sure when you're coloring that it is dry. So let's do our cat. So she is in the, oh wait, what do I have Sahara sand? Never mind. That's what I stamped the back of my cards with. So I still had that on my desk. All right, so we want crumb cake. And you just want to make sure that this is dry, because if I'm doing crumb cake next to where the mint macaron was, and if it's still a little wet, it will pull it into that wet. So just make sure it's good and dry. And that's why I'm putting it on fairly light as well. Okay, so crumb cake is one of those weird colors. It is like a brown, but when you add the water to it, it almost has a greenish tint to it. All right, so now we're going to do our kitty. And I'm just putting it up here in the corners, so it's a little darker around there and around her head. And then I'm going to take off quite a bit off of my brush, and then I'm just going to come back and I'm going to go up into this, and that's going to lighten that crumb and pull it into the kitty even more. So you just want to make sure you do it fairly quickly before it's all the way dry. So now my kitty, she's got, you know, highlights and lowlights. If you want it to have dark, more darker, just come over and grab a little more where that crumb cake is more concentrated, and then we can add it so she's got a little more dark for a little bit more shadow, like underneath here. So I just go back, and I love the water painters. There's 3 of them, 3 different sizes, and this is a small one, but it just is such a they're just a great set of water painters. All right, so that's good for my kitty. I don't want to do too much to her. I want her to have like some variegated colors. So that was crumb cake. We also want crushed curry, and that's going to be for our puppy dog's collar. And then I'm just squeezing and I'm rubbing it on that cotton round in between colors so that I don't muddy anything up. All right, then we want blush blossom, and that's going to be for the North Pole on the present. So we're just going to start at the top and then just work our way down, and as it goes down to the bottom it gets lighter and lighter because we are getting some of the ink off of there. And then the same. So it's a little bit darker on the top than the bottom. Let's see, we also want our puppy. Now our puppy is smoky slate. So I'm going to do like I did with the cat, where I'm going to dilute it quite a bit in the ink pad so that he's not going to be super dark. And then we're just going to come over and we're going to put some of this smoky on our puppy. And I'm not coloring him all the way in. I'm just hitting him here and there, so we're leaving some white areas. And then if you want it to be darker like the cat, just go in and just add a little darker here in a couple spots, not tons, because I want him to look more like a little white puppy. So the gray gives you that hint that he's white, and that's just simply a shadow. All right, now we also want to do our present. So the present's going to be in garden green. Let me move some of these ink pads out of the way. So we're going to do the same thing. We're grabbing this, and it's fairly diluted because garden green is a really dark color. So I'm just making it fairly diluted. And then we're just going to come over and we're going to paint in our present color. So I used garden green because, well, that's what it said to use, but because we used garden green cardstock. All right, then we just need to pay attention which are the bows and which are the present. So just, you know, when you're coloring them, just make sure you don't by accident color what's supposed to be a bow when it's the present. All right. And since I'm doing the present bow red, we do that last, especially when we're watercoloring. All right. So that's why you kind of want to make sure you pay attention to where you are. All right, so there's one coat of the green. And then we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to come over into here. I'm going to get a little bit more green so it's a little bit more potent. And we're just going to put some dark green here and there on our present. And it just makes it pop off the page more if you have some dark here and there. So if you haven't done any watercoloring, definitely give it a try, because don't be scared of it, because it's very forgiving. And get yourself a pack of shimmery paper, or you can do with a watercolor, but shimmery, you get more pieces out of the shimmery. All right, so there's that. And then to finish it off, we're going to do real red. for the bow. And there's also real red on the dog's collar bell. All right, so same thing. I'm starting it out fairly light. So I'm just kind of move my paper so that I'm not brushing my arm up where it's wet. So I move my card so that I'm not brushing up against onto that wet. So then we just need to color our bow. So again, it's just really, really light at first, and then we'll go back and we will add more to give it some dark like we did with everything else. So this is real red. So if you are just joining me, welcome. This is my Mimeograph Monday with a Twist, and I'm doing the card from page 37 in the mini catalog. Now this is from the mini catalog that is ending, that I showed the last chance list last week, and this adorable stamp set is actually one of the sets that is leaving. So you want to make sure you grab it. So I'm actually doing, this is the first card. I'm doing 2 cards today. And this is the one, like I said, that I'm casing from page 20, or not 20, page 37. So this is my idea of how it was made. I did use shimmery cardstock, which is a little different than what they use, but I prefer to use the shimmery when I'm watercoloring. When I do my twist card, which is coming up, I used a different paper because we are going to use the blends to give it a whole different kind of look. All right, so that was the first coat with just the real red. Now I'm going to go back into the pad like I did before, and I'm going to catch some of the darker red, and we're going to add some dark. So where that bow would come out, where it's all like twisted and stuff, it would be dark in there. And we're just going to simply add some dark. And this just makes that bow pop right off the page. But red is pretty potent, so just, you know, take your time. You don't want to get it in the wrong spot. And right here. And here. So I'm just barely picking it up on the tip of my water painter. So this is fun. Now, this is, I left it say to North Pole, but you could totally color this any color you want. When I do my twist, I colored it differently. And you could add happy birthday so that this could turn into a birthday card. So you don't have to go, oh, Christmas is over. I would only use that stamp set, you know, once a year or whatever. But no, just change this to happy birthday. I'm sure you have a happy birthday in your stash somewhere that you could simply stamp happy birthday, cut it into a square, pop it on top of that, and now you have a happy birthday card. All right, so there is that. And look at how wet this is. So then I just throw that away. And then I just make sure that I've cleaned my brush. All right, so now we can put our card together. So this is the catalog version. So I need to also cut this. So this is just fussy cutted with the scissors. So I'm going to start from the bottom where, so I can get kind of a straight edge. And then up. And if it's not perfectly straight, hey, it's a kitty and a dog card. I'm not too worried about it. All right. In fact, it looks kind of cute if it's a little crooked. All right. Okay. Now, they said that they used the foam adhesive sheets. So I'm like, okay. And it makes me go, I need to use these more often. So I'm using them. And now they come like this, but you can see I've been cutting on it. So what I'm just doing is I'm just taking my scissors and I'm just cutting and cutting because no one is going to see this. It's going to go on the back. And basically what these are it's just one big stamp or dimensional is what it is. All right, so we want our little kitty and our puppy. So I just, you know, that works good on there. And this will be good on there. Nobody will see it, but the whole thing is then more supported than if I just put dimensionals. And that was fast, right? And these are a lot easier to throw away than all those little dimensional backings. All right, so then this just goes on kind of cattywampus like that. Then we've got You've Been Good This Year, mostly. So that is going to go on the bottom. So this needs to be a little shorter. There we go. And I'm just make sure and put it on the right side. So I'm going to put it fairly close to the bottom here so that this top can ride on the top of the puppy and the kitty. All right. Oh, I can see it a little bit. Hold on a second. I'm just going to trim that and you can't see it. All right. So this goes on here. Like that. So here's the catalog one. So is that not so adorable? Oh, I love it, love it. Okay, so now let me move some of this garbage out of the way. And we're gonna do the twist card. Now the twist card, I'm making bigger. I made it be bigger. And I'm also using some DSP. So I'm making it be a regular size card. And don't forget to decorate your envelope. I say that every time, right? Okay, so I'm using the gingham, where'd I put my little things? Here they are. I'm using the Gingham Cottage. Now the Gingham Cottage 12 by 12 DSP is retiring. So you're gonna wanna make sure you grab some of that because it is super cute. All right, so so this is where that paper has come from. So now I'm changing it up. I'm also using the stitched rectangles. So I cut out my greeting with a stitched rectangle, and I cut out my kitty and my puppy with the stitched rectangles. And this is basic white, and I'm using the Memento now. Now these pads are pretty much identical, but Memento is only for the blends, Stays On is for the watercolor. If you use the blends with the Stays On, they'll just smear. So you want to just make sure, like if you're not sure, just write right on here, blends, watercolor, you know? Or if you ever get confused, just holler at me before you start. Okay, so let's just quickly put this on the inside of our card. So, and then, so I haven't stamped anything on the inside of the card because I kind of like to have some cards that don't have anything, because then I can put whatever I want when I need the card. Or if I send it as a thank you card, I just put a post-it note in there so the person can use the card. All right, so this is Garden Green, just like before, but again, this is a full-size card. All right, so this is going to go on the inside. Almost glued that to the front. All right. Good, good. Then this is just going to go on the front. Now this is really fun, right? So it has two different patterns. And I liked the bigger of the two, so that's the one that I'm going to put on the card. Okay. And then let's get coloring. So let me bring my grid sheet over. All right, so let's color our kitty and our puppy. So this time I'm using the blends, but I'm using some of the same colors as I did before. All right. We're also going to have fun with our color lifter. So I don't use the color lifter very often, unless I make a boo-boo, but today we're going to use it, hopefully I don't make any boo-boos. We're going to use it purposely today. So this is the light mint macaron. So I'm going to do the same as I did on the other card, but we're using the blend instead. So what we're going to do is we are just going to go around our image just like we did before. Now this is a light, but it's a lot darker, and it will lighten up as it dries. It's darker than the watercolor because we were able to dilute the mint macaron with the water. So we're just basically going to be doing the color lifter, and that's how we're going to dilute it. So I'm just going around. I'm not trying to be perfect. It's just splotchy, and I'm just putting some color around it. All right, so again, it's mint macaron, and that's just because that's what they chose. A lot of times I'll pick the pool party because it's a lot lighter, but pool party doesn't always show. So I'm like, well, I'm just going to stick with the mint macaron because it's going to show up better on the camera. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our color lifter, and this is like an eraser, and we're just going to go around the edges, and it's going to soften the edge. Now, I don't like to use the color lifter. I try not to get it up on the stamped image. I try to keep it away. All right, so then I'm going to come into here and just do a couple little dots and stuff, and that's just going to lighten up that mint macaron as this starts to dry. So we're going to keep this out because we're going to use it several times today. All right, I also want to use the So Saffron. So we have the dark saffron, and we're going to put it on our North Pole, as well as our puppy collar. All right, so we're going to go to the North Pole. So around the edge, we're going to do the dark. And let's give our kitty a yellow eye. All right, so that's the dark So Saffron. And then we're going to take the light So Saffron and come from the center and then go over to the edge. And then I just get lighter and lighter as I, like I hardly am touching that to the center as I'm getting to it. And that will just give you a lot lighter So Saffron in the center. And then it will just dry, and then it kind of glows in the center that way. All right, I also want to take my flirty, you know, me and my flirty, so my light flirty, and we're just going to put some little pink cheeks on our puppy. All right, we also want crumb, so let me get my crumbs. So we're still using crumb on our cat like we did before. So we have our dark crumb. So we're going to put our dark in the edge like we did when we did the watercoloring. So just from the edge, coming in with the dark. and then we'll finish it with the light. So we're just putting a little bit. I just love the look on this cat's face. She is disgusted. All right, so that was the dark crumb, and then we'll come back with the light crumb and add a little more. And then we're going to use our color lifter. All right, so then we're going to take our color lifter and we're just going to do some little dots and marks into here. And what that's going to do is it's just going to lighten it up in areas, and it gives it almost the look of like fur. You don't want to do it too much because you don't want to take all that coloring away. You just want to make it look kind of mottledy and textury. So as it dries, it will like look better as that color lifter dries. So then we're going to do the same thing with our smoky slate. All right, so our smoky slate and our dark smoky slate. All right, so we're going to go dark smoky slate, but not a whole lot. Well, this is that crazy one that I messed up the tip. All right, so we're just putting a little bit here and there, but not a lot. Okay, and then we'll take our light smoky. And then we're also going to put a little gray granite. So I'm just kind of coloring, but I'm not coloring it fully. I'm just kind of like tapping the color in there. All right, then our light gray granite. And it just makes the dog kind of hairy looking. We're also going to do the same thing with that color lifter though. But by doing this with the markers first, or the blends, and then the color lifter, it just gives that look of a hairy dog. All right, so do the same thing. So we're just kind of doing some dots, and it will just lighten that up in certain areas. All right, now I can see where I didn't stamp super good on his little ear there, so not a big deal. I'm just going to take this was the dark smoky, and I'm just going to go right over top of that, and now it's nice and dark. Okay, then let's see. All right, we want our present. Now I wanted my present to not be green because we don't have a garden green blend, but I wanted it to look like a more vivid picture, or a more vivid present. So I am in love with the new Tahitian Tide. So this is one of the new in colors. So I changed my present totally to make it be very bright. So we are doing Tahitian Tide. So we're going to start with the dark. And again, pay attention to what is present and what is ribbon. Because even though the color lifter is like an eraser, you don't want to have to erase too much. All right, so this is the dark Tahitian, and then we'll finish it with the light. So this is the dark underneath that label there. And then we'll do the light to finish it up. And these are pretty compatible. And I've mentioned before, like some of the blends, the light and the dark, they're quite a bit different, but this one is pretty close to being the same. All right, so this is the light, and then we're going to do our ribbon. So even though the blends are a little bit different than watercoloring, like you can usually, you know, brush up against and nothing, you know, it doesn't really smear too bad. I still like to do my red last. All right, so I'm going to use soft suede. And if you have watched me color with the blends in red, you know I always grab, usually light soft suede is the one I grab. Bronze works, any of the brown in the tones work too, but I just kind of gravitate to the light soft suede. And I'm picking Poppy Parade instead of red. So we want to use the soft suede. So wherever we want dark to be, we're going to put some suede. And what this does is it's just going to give us a third shade of Poppy Parade. So I want it up here. So all of my like nooks and crannies, the edges around where that ribbon wraps would be dark. And where it touches each other is dark. So I just put some light soft suede. And then we'll come back with dark Poppy Parade and go right over top of this and more. So I'm almost done. So this is just, again, light soft suede, because we're going to be coloring with Poppy Parade or any reds. I do the same thing, not just Poppy Parade. And if you've not done that, just give it a try and you'll see. You'll go, wow, that looks pretty cool. And it just gives it a natural dark red. All right, so that again was light soft suede. Then we're going to take dark Poppy Parade, and we're going to go right over top of that light soft suede, but we're going to add a little bit more. So we're going to go out a ways. So that will give us like that 2 colors of the Poppy Parade. And then we'll finish it with the light. So I'm going out a little further so you can see where that soft suede is. And just a little bit further out. And again, I'm turning my card. I like to be a little closer to where I'm coloring, and then that way your arms are not brushing up against where you've already colored. And sometimes if you're not paying attention, you can turn the edge, right? If you're not paying attention. So I usually try to turn when I'm coloring. It might be a little harder for you to see what I'm doing, but so again, this is the dark Poppy over top of that soft suede. And I didn't do it there. I forgot. I forgot that one. All right. I love coloring with the blends to do red. All right, one more. And then we can finish with the light. All right, so that was soft suede first, then dark Poppy, now light Poppy to finish it. And then you've got that bright Poppy in there. Almost done. So cute. I'm also going to put some Poppy on that collar, even though I'm going to put some bling on it. All right, so there is our cute little kitty and puppy. So you can see how by using that color lifter, let me see if I can bring it up, see if it will focus. You can see that the puppy and the kitty look furry, right? They don't look like solidly colored. All right, so let's put our card together. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing with the, whatchamacallit, because I have a lot of these, and it makes putting the dimensionals on pretty darn quick, even though it looks horrible right there. Nobody can see that. Okay, so let's see. And all right, so I'm going to put this on at an angle. So we're going to put this on at an angle. Then we also have our happy gift wrapping season. Now, if you decide that, you know what, you want to do some of these for, you know, birthday cards or whatever, then you could pick, you know, a different greeting. You wouldn't want to put the gift wrap season if you're going to do some birthday ones. So you could just, you know, change this happy birthday, and then whatever greeting is in your happy birthday set, I'm sure would have something that you could stick down here in the bottom. All right, so I'm going to stick that here like that. Then I have the, which I'm looking, what did I do with them? The red bling. Oh, here they are. So we're going to do the red rhinestone basic jewels. So let me get my pick tool. All right, so we have our cute little puppy, and I'm going to put his little collar is going to have a little red, because this is a Christmas card. So I'm going to assume his little collar's got some red. But let's put a few more around the card. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I'm counting this as 7. Even though it's not on the outside of the card, I'm still going to count that because it's the same embellishment, so that we have an odd number. All right, so let me bring over. So here we go. So here is the catalog version. I'm trying to clean halfway. So here's the catalog version, super adorable. And here is my twist. So what do you think? I think they're both cute. They, you know, this is watercolored. This is colored with the blends. 4x4 card, and this is a regular card. Regular, I think they say A4. All right, so let me say, see you later, alligator. Don't look at my mess that's on the side of my desk. I swear that right side of my desk, that's just where I'm right-handed, so everything goes there. And then that's all the stuff I need to put away from today. So anyway, so I hope that you liked that one. If there's ever anything in the catalog that you go, oh, I would love to see this for Mimeograph Monday with a Twist, just let me know. If I have the stuff, I will certainly do it if I can. And let me know if you like one more than the other. Did I teach you something new that maybe you didn't know? I try to teach something. Maybe it's just don't do this. Sometimes that's what kind of thing I teach. Make sure, oh, if something doesn't work. But anyways, I like both of them. So now I have a couple Christmas cards ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to say see you later. I will see you tomorrow for my Teach Me Tuesdays, and I will be showing you the goodies and the guts for December, so you don't want to miss out on that video. It will be at 3 o'clock Arizona time, same channel. And otherwise, have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.